I mean, Dr. Theo Acheampong, how important is that in the bigger scheme of things, looking at an economy in crisis in 2023?
I mean, I think if you recall, a couple of months ago, we had this particular conversation, and one of the things that stood out for me when the budget was read late last year, was how the numbers, in my view, didn't really add up, right? So let's just pick two of the headline numbers. In one fell swoop, you're seeking to increase your revenues overnight by about 49%, right? From just about 100 billion to 144 billion in the midst of a crisis, in the midst of a potential global recession. And then in the same time, you're also increasing your expenditure from about 137 billion to 205 billion. That's about 51% overnight within that same sort of budget line. We can, unpack that. What that clearly told me, or told some of us who have been following this game for a while now, again, was that the macroeconomic targets, or some of the targets for 2023, were unlikely to be met. And amidst the prospect of even a delayed possible implementation of this IMF program, then what that then tells you is that you've got to go back to the fundamentals. Basically, we need to rework all of these numbers, the revenue targets, the expenditure targets, some of the rationalization that needs to take place, including on the CapEx, on flagship initiatives. We need to see the government doing something, or sending a clear signal to Ghanaians and to other investors within the economy that indeed we're in a crisis moment, and that then calls for that burden sharing across the board. Unfortunately, I haven't seen that coming through, either in terms of the rhetoric or even in terms of the actual numbers that underpin some of these, macro targets. So it's fundamentally a call to relook at the numbers and to relook at where we can make savings and where we can cut our expenses. I don't see why we're still keeping in excess of 80 plus ministers and some of the parastatals, when clearly a number of them are even loss making in this respect.